Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Kwon Yasharala, Shalom Yehuda, Shalom Israel. Well, I know I went over some of this before in the earlier, probably one of the earlier videos, talking about the UFOs and, you know, what the white man considered to be aliens, which I don't, consider them to be aliens because that's not scripture. The scripture talks about them as being angels. Being angels in those so-called UFOs that people, as of lately, if you watch some of the UFO channels, they be taking pictures of, taking video pictures and pictures of different unidentified objects in the sky. Okay. And I do believe I seen one myself in the sky. One of the, because they come in different colors, shapes, and sizes and stuff too now. I've seen the red orbs. I've seen a red orb before floating in the sky and then shooting off, disappearing. I've seen that myself. So I believe on everything the Bible says about these UFOs. And if you believe the Bible, like you say you do, you should believe it too, right? But some people don't believe it, which is evident because some people don't believe all of the word of the Most High. They only believe some of the words that's in this Bible. They don't believe all of it. It's like they don't believe in the witches and the warlocks, and they don't believe in the Shedem, the hairy goat demons. They don't believe in the fallen angels, the Nephilim, the evil spirits, the giants. They don't believe in all that, even though it's in the Bible. They don't believe in that. They consider that to be fairy tales and whatnot. But they believe everything else in the Bible. Now, how is that? Either you're going to believe the whole word of the Bible, or you're going to, or you ain't. It is what it is, So, I know what I'm waiting on. I know what I'm waiting to see according to the scriptures. And that's why I wanted to go over this. Because I was talking to my son earlier. We was trying to figure out, well, I asked my older son, I said, well, what you want to go over today? Because their sister was gone, and I got her, going over some of the Old Testament, starting from the Old Testament and working their way up, and then I'm helping them, with the understanding and stuff for that. But since she wasn't here today, I said, what y'all got any questions? They were like, oh, we don't have no questions. They're kids, they mind, they barely can grasp the milk of it, So they don't really have no questions. And so, yeah, so I said, so what about the UFOs? They're like, UFOs? Who's UFOs? So like, yeah, let me show you. So, and that's what we started talking about today. So I said, well, heck, we'll talk to my sons and them about the UFOs and the so-called UFOs in the scriptures. And we know they're not little green men. We know they're actually black men in those UFOs. Black angels, rather, So we got to talking about that. So we wanted to share that, a little bit of that. Some scriptures on where you can find in the Bible where it talks about UFOs. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot more, especially in the advanced books. And I'm going to go over probably one book in the advanced books, the Apocrypha, which talks about the UFOs taking up Enoch. Okay. So we know we read about the UFOs in Ezekiel and taking up how it took up Elijah, and Elisha wanted double of his spirit, his ruach, his power, his gifts. He got double of that. So we're going to be talking about that too. And what they got to do with us. Well, it got a lot to do with us, these UFOs. They got a lot to do with us. And that's half of us going to go home to Jerusalem when the shofar is blown in Jerusalem. That's how we're going to get there. Some of us, we're going to have to, be brought over by ships. Our enemies, some of our enemies are going to try to bring us over there in order to keep these UFOs from wearing their behind out, you know. So we know there's going to be two things. There's going to be some of us taking, like he said, one going to be at the grinding at the mill, the other one, the one taking and the other one left, one man in the bed and another one left, one person in the field, one taking, another one left. Taken how? Taken where? Taken with what? How's it going to be taken? It'll be taken by these daggone UFOs that's in this Bible, the same way they took the other prophets. But not all of us are getting on them ships. Not all of us are going to be taken. A lot of us, we're going to die in the wilderness. A lot of us, we're going to go to the valley. We're going to be brought to the valley of Jehoshaphat, where he said he's going to plead for his people there. So some of us going to be taken by these UFOs. Some of us going to be taken, you know, they're going to be trying to take us over there by plane, train, boat, cars, or however they can get us there. Once they figure that, hey, the gig is up and judgment is upon them, for all these centuries and thousands of years, hey, they can be trying to get rid of us Negroes by any means necessary. Hey, either y'all get on the ship and y'all fly with the UFOs, or we gonna take you over there ourselves. We're gonna read that too, cause they be trying to get us up out of here. Hey, cause they say when them UFOs cover, they cover with flame of fire. When the Most High Yah come, and with his chariots, he said fire gonna be before him. He said, hey, that fire's gonna do what? It's gonna scorch everyone. So your daggone tongue gonna roll in the back of your daggone mouth. That's how hot it's gonna be. It's gonna be fire. Like something that you see off of Terminator 2 Judgment Day, when all them nukes went off and all that flame of fire was on scorching everybody, and they was all playing around at the playground, and then they mouth, they tongue rolled in their mouth, and they flesh just fell out their body. That's how it's gonna be. When them UFOs, hey, I'm telling you, they gonna be trying to get us up out of here with the quickness. So what we got to do to get there? Hey, we got to be ready, man. We got to just be ready. You know, got to be ready. So let's get into this, cause I ain't gonna keep you all day. Okay. So go with me if you got your Bible. I'm gonna be or your King James version of your Bible, or your Sefer. Okay, go with me to 2 Kings. We're gonna start there. We're gonna start in 2 Kings, talking about these chariots of the Most High. Cause hey, there's something we getting ready to see here soon. Okay, there's something we're gonna get ready to see soon. When? Nobody knows the day and hour, but soon, you know. Hey, 2 Kings chapter 2. Let me 2 Kings chapter 2 verse 1. Okay, I'm gonna start here. Now y'all need y'all to get y'all highlighters and mark this stuff in here so y'all can go back to it. So next time you hear somebody talking about UFOs in the Bible, you be like, oh yeah, I know about that. I read about that. I read it for myself. So you don't think all of us run around here crazy talking about UFOs when they in this Bible. Okay, they in. 2 Kings chapter 2 verse 1 says, and it came to pass when Yahuwah would take up Elijah, when Yahuwah would take up Elijah into heaven by a whirlwind. Now keep in mind this whirlwind. Okay, you gotta understand when these UFOs, and if you go and look at a lot of these research some of these channels on YouTube or so forth, about these UFOs hiding themselves inside of tornadoes and things like that, and hiding themselves inside of whirlwinds, then you can understand where they're coming from. Because the Bible always talks about these chariots of Yah hiding themselves in whirlwinds. Okay, snatching people up. All right, let's go. So he said, and he would take up Elijah, the prophet Elijah, into heaven by a whirlwind. That Elijah went with Elisha from Gilgal. Okay, it says, and Elijah said unto Elisha, tarry here, I pray you, for Yahuwah has sent me to Bethel. Okay, and Elisha said unto him, as Yahuwah lives, and as your soul lives, I will not leave you. Shalom, brother. Shalom. It says, so they went down to Bethel. We in 2 Kings chapter 2. 2 Kings chapter 2. So I need y'all to mark these places where I'm reading about these UFOs so you can always go back to it. Okay, so somebody, like somebody asks you, you know, you ain't just looking at us brothers crazily like, I don't believe in UFO. What UFO? What are you talking about? Well, heck, it's right here. It's right here. You ain't gotta go. You ain't even gotta go to the History Channel. You ain't gotta watch the movies. It's right here. You know, that's where they got it from. They got it from this book. They got it from the Bible. But they like to make you believe that the UFOs and the beings inside of them are little green men. But that, according to the Bible, they're angels, and they're black. They're not little green men. They're black angels in the Bible. Inside that whirlwind, inside that chariot of Yah. We're going to get there, okay? So when you see him for yourself with your own two eyes on that day of judgment, you ain't sitting there looking crazy because you're going to be left. All right, let's go. So we're saying in 2 Kings chapter 2, okay, verse 3, it says, and the sons of the prophets that were at Bethel. You know, where's Bethel? Remember Bethel? Bethel's that place where that Jacob named that altar at, where he had fell asleep, and he rested his heads on those stones, and while he was resting his head, he seen the angels going up and down the ladder. Jacob seen what we call a UFO event. He seen angels going up and down the ladder of heaven. Well, if you laying down on some stones and you dreaming, you looking up and you seeing angels ascend and descend, go up and come down the staircase of heaven. Come on now. That's why they call it Bethel. Okay, so that's Bethel. This is the same Bethel he's talking about. It says, and the sons of the prophets that were at Bethel came forth to Elisha and said unto him, know you that Yahuwah will take away your master from your head today? And he said, I know it. It says, hold ye your peace. And Elijah said unto him, Elisha, tarry here, I pray you, for Yahuwah has sent me to Jericho. Okay. And he said, as Yahuwah lives, as your soul lives, I will not leave you. So they came to Jericho. Verse 5, and the sons of the prophets that were at Jericho came to Elisha and said unto him, it says, know you that Yahuwah will take away your master from your head today? So everybody was telling Elisha, because Elisha was his understudy. Everybody knew that the Most High was getting ready to take Elijah. Getting ready to take him how? Take away his life? Well, he was getting ready to take him up there. The same way he took Enoch. We're going to read that. So he said, so everybody knew that these prophets that was at Jericho came to Elijah and said, hey, Most High getting ready to take your head. Take away your master from your head today. It says, and he answered, it says, yeah, I know it. It says, I know. It says, hold your peace though. In verse 6, it says, and Elijah said unto him, tarry, I pray you here, for Yahuwah has sent me to Jordan. So he had sent him everywhere. So Elijah was telling his understanding Elisha, hey, the Most High got me going here, got me going there, got me going here before I get ready to get up out of here for real. In other words, he had some stuff he had to finish taking care of before the Most High took him. Just like Enoch did. He had stuff he had to take care of with the fallen angels and how they pleaded with Enoch to beg the Most High to allow the fallen angels back up in heaven. So the Most High took Enoch because they would have had killed him. The angels, hey, when Most High sent Enoch, if you go read the book of Enoch, okay, the Most High sent Enoch back down there and tell him, hey, tell them fallen angels, hey, y'all not coming back up to heaven. Y'all left heaven. Y'all left eternity. Y'all left eternal life to come down here and sleep with daughters of men. Y'all not going back to heaven if you go read the book of Enoch. So guess what? Do you think the devil and his angels would have took what Enoch said and not snapped his neck? Look at that little Enoch said, man, we've been counting on you. We told you to go talk to our Father. Huh? Yeah, the devil would have snapped his neck or put him somewhere and tormented him until the day of judgment. That's why y'all had to take Enoch. But Enoch knew everything. Most High showed Enoch everything. And he wasn't the only one he showed everything to either. He also showed Moses everything. He also showed Enoch. He showed Moses. Showed Noah. He showed a lot of people everything, but not a lot. But you know, the major players of the book. He showed them how the sun and the moon rotates. He showed them the orders of the stars, the portals that the stars go through, and that the rain, the sleet and snow, all the portals and the angels who are in control of everything. He showed them that. We're going to read the book Enoch, explain all that to you. Okay? That's why I said the other day in the video, I said, well, if there's a veil over our eyes until we be taken out of this flesh to see what's on the other side of eternal life, then what the heck is reality? If this ain't reality that we seeing, and there's a veil that we can't really see what's behind the veil, like the angels for the or the Most High, and so forth, for these angels and these demons and so forth, the underworld and all that. If we can't see all that in our physical eyes right now until that veil is lifted, then what is reality? It's almost like we're in the Matrix, right? It's almost like we're in the Matrix. All right, so let's continue reading. Number 8, Phil. Where does it came from? All right, I'll just set it here. All right, let's go. I'm losing my little tabs here. All right, so it says verse 7. Oh, rather verse 6, 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 6. It says, and he said, as Yahuwah lives and as your soul lives, I will not leave you. And they went, and they too went on. So both of them went on about their way. It says, and 50 men of the sons of the prophets went and stood to view afar off. Okay, so 50 of the sons of the prophets. They was getting ready to watch Elijah be taken. This was an event. This was an event getting ready to take place. That's why they stood afar off. Why? Because they knew the chariots of fire would scorch them if they stood too close. Check this out. He said 50 men of the sons of prophets went and stood to view afar off, and they stood by Jordan, by the Jordan, what they call the Jordan River. Okay, by the Jordan. Okay. Verse 8, and it says, and Elijah took his mantle and wrapped it together and smote the waters, and there divided hither and thither. So he took his mantle, wrapped it together, okay, and smote the waters. Now this mantle had to have been some type of object, some type of object, just like Moses had his staff. Okay, Elijah also had a type of object that could smote, in other words, part the Jordan River. That could part water, like Jordan River, he parted the Jordan River. Just like Moses and parted the Dead Sea, Elijah parted the Jordan. Check this out. He said he wrapped it and smote the waters, and they were divided hither and thither, so that they too went over on dry ground. Verse 9, it says, and it came to pass, when they were going over, that Elijah said unto Elisha, ask what I shall do for you before I be taken away from you. And Elisha said, I pray you, let a double portion of your spirit be upon me. Now, why would, if Elijah was getting ready to be taken, why would he waste time parting waters? Why would he be parting the Jordan River for? That don't even make sense now, does it? what purpose would that play? Unless he was making something for, you know, parting the sea so that something could come down, or to expose something to go up. Well, check this out. If you, like I said, if you go do a lot of research on a lot of these UFO sightings and stuff, a lot of the sightings are not just up in the heavens. They're also under the sea. A lot of them are under the sea. A lot of researchers and even NASA and government, you know, people have spotted these objects, these UFOs, returning and going from out of the ocean. They coming out of the ocean and going into the ocean. And some of them going up to the heavens and coming out of the heavens. So that would be the reason why he split the waters. Okay. Let's read on. And verse 10, it says, and he said, you have asked a hard thing. Nevertheless, if you see me when I am taken from you, if you see when these angels, these chariots, these UFOs take me, guess what? If you see this, then what? He says, it shall be so unto you. It shall be so unto you, but if not, it shall not be so. What shall be so and not be so? The double portion of his spirit. The double portion of his power that was given unto him through the Ruach, through the Spirit, through Yah. So he's saying, verse 11, it says, and it came to pass, as they still went on and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire, and horses of fire, and parted them both asunder. So it says there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire and parted them both asunder. So in this chariot of fire, this circle within the circle, according to Enoch, that looks like these UFOs that we see, you know, today. Okay. There's also horses of fire. Now, I equate that as to little bitty type of UFOs, smaller than the actual chariot. Just like on a horse and a chariot, the horses are carrying around this big old chariot, and the chariot is normally larger in diameter than the rest of the horse, you know. So he's saying, in other words, they parted. Okay, they might have came as one, but they parted. Okay, and out of that chariot was horses of fire as well. It says, and parted them both asunder, and Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. Remember, I was telling you earlier, these UFOs that we see today like to hide in whirlwinds or clouds, even in tornadoes. Okay. Now, you can go do the research yourself, whether you want to believe that or not, but I'm just telling you, these UFOs that everybody's seeing all over, you know, all over the internet and web and what have you, that we have available today, are in the Bible. Okay. Hey. If it's in here, if you don't believe that, you don't believe them, then what do you believe? What do you believe? So it took him. It says, verse 12, it says, and Elisha saw it. So Elisha beheld it. Okay? Not only him, but who else beheld it? The 50 sons of the prophets who stood afar off to watch this event. They beheld it too. They had to have seen this. Or at least seen what? The whirlwind, if not the chariot itself. They had to see the whirlwind, which looked like to them a tornado of fire. It says, and Elisha saw it, and he cried, my father, the chariot of Israel. The chariots of Israel, and the horsemen thereof. And the horsemen were considered what? The angels. The horses of fire, the angels. The horses, the angels, the fire. Okay. So when he was talking about the horses of fire, he was probably talking about the seraphims that was inside the UFOs, according to Ezekiel. And we're going to get description on that. Because they also surround themselves with fire as well. Let's get it. He said, and the horsemen thereof. Okay, the horsemen thereof. Okay. And he says, and he saw him no more. And he took hold of his own clothes and rent them in two pieces. That means he tore his own clothes into pieces. He saw him no more because his master was gone up in this whirlwind of fire. Along with these horsemen of fire. And he rent his clothes. It says, and he took up also the mantle of Elijah that fell from him. So as he was taken, that fell from him, his mantle fell from him. He also took up that mantle and went back and stood by the bank of the Jordan River. It says, and he took the mantle of Elijah that fell from him and smote the waters and said, where is Yahuwah Elohim of Elijah? Where is the God of Elijah? Man. It says, and when he also had smitten the waters, they parted hither and thither. And Elijah went over the Jordan. Man. And when the sons of the prophets, which were to view at Jericho saw him, they said, the spirit of Elijah rest on Elisha. And they came to meet him and bowed themselves to the ground before him. Well, now, go with me, well, you ain't really got a whole spot there, but go with me to the book of Ezekiel. With me to, that's where I lost my place. Book of Ezekiel. Let's find out about what these chariots are. Okay. Important to know what they are so we can know what we're looking for. Okay. Because some of these same chariots are going to take us up out of here, brothers and sisters. Okay. While the rest of the world is making these movies like Independence Day on how the white man and his army is going to try to defeat these UFOs and these so-called aliens they display on these movies, we know that that's our ride home. So what side are you going to be on? The one fighting for the freedom of the world, or the New World Order, like in the Independence Day resurgence? Because that's what that was about. The New World Order, all the nations of the world gathered themselves together under one. And they all went and fought against the UFOs that came to bring what? Judgment Day upon them? Fire and destruction? That's how it's going to be on the day of Yah. These people going to think they're going to try to fight against the Most High. And they're going to be burnt with fire. So you need to know which side you on. Hey. Because I don't see him as my enemy. I see him as my way up out of here. That's my ride out of here. Yeah. That's our ride right there. Let's go. Ezekiel. Book of Ezekiel. Book of Ezekiel. So let's get a description on what these are so we can go further. Okay. Book of Ezekiel chapter 1. Chapter 1 verse 4. Okay. It says, and I looked and behold a whirlwind. Okay, remember that whirlwind we was just talking about in 2 Kings, right? A whirlwind where the chariots came in, okay, to hide themselves, okay, to disguise themselves, right? Okay, so he said, I looked and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north. Whirlwind came from up there, okay, from out of the north, a great cloud and a fire enfolding itself. Now, have you ever seen a flame enfold itself? Well, if some of us who, went through firefighter training or fought fires on on ships and stuff like that in the Navy, like I have, and other brothers, okay, engineers and stuff like that, you know how them flames like a Bravo fire. You know how flame, how it kind of just kind of kindles itself, right? And it's kind of hard to put out, and the flames go each and every way. But once you see the flame start to enfold itself, enfold like the oxygen is being re-entered into it, and you create that sort of backdraft. Okay, when I hear the word a fire enfolding itself, it sounds more to me like a backdraft. How the oxygen is sucking the flames of the fire in until it just poof, and flame enfolding itself out of what? Out of this whirlwind. Okay. It says, and the brightness was about it. Okay, I'm pretty sure it was. It says, and out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber. And we know amber is the color of brown. I'm amber. You probably amber too. Okay. It was brown. It says, out of the midst of the fire. Okay, so this object, this chariot, this amber color, out of the midst of the fire. It says, and out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures. It says, and this was their appearance. Okay, it says they had the likeness of a man. They look like a man. They just say they look like a green alien? Huh? They say like look like some kind of green alien off of X-Files? No, they look like men. It says, and every one had 4 faces. And each one of these angels that was in these chariots of fire had 4 faces. Okay, they look like a man. They was built like a man. Had 4 faces. It says, and this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man. Everyone had 4 faces, and everyone had 4 wings. Okay, these are called seraphims. The seraphim angels. Okay, seraphim angels have 4 wings, 4 faces. If you go read the book of Abraham, talks about the seraphim angels and how they praise the Most High, and they covered with the 2 wings. They covered the lower part of their bodies, and the other 2 wings they covered and folded against themselves. They had 4 wings. They had 4 faces, like a man, and they prayed unto the Most High day and night, saying, "Holy, holy, holy." Holy, 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 these four elders that they called them in the Apocalypse of Abraham were 4 seraphim angels. And they all praised the Most High day and night. Okay, day and night. So these same type of angels, these seraphims that are in the book of Ezekiel, shalom, brother, also came out of what we call UFOs, these chariots of Yah. It says, and their feet were straight feet. Their feet were straight feet, and the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot. So, you look at your feet, our feet kind of point straight, right? Okay. And how was it made? It says the sole of their feet. How the sole of our feet look? Well, mine is white at the bottom. They're saying like the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot. Like a calf. What's a calf? Like a calf with a parted hoof. Okay, like cattle. Like ninja shoes. I had one person describing as ninja shoes. You ever watch them old Chinese movies, them ninja movies? And he had a dude run around in all that black, and he had on his shoe on his feet, look like he got little sandals on, but they kind of all black and kind of parted like hooves. They're kind of some weird looking shoes. Well, that's what these angels' feet look like. Okay. It says, and they sparkled like the color of burnt brass. And they sparkled like the color of burnished brass, burnt brass. Now, where else we heard this burnt brass at? Oh, like the description of Yahushua HaMashiach, who y'all call Jesus Christ. Also had the appearance of burnt brass. The children of Israel, also the color of burnt brass. As I was saying, this book about black people. Y'all been deceived all these years. And believing anything that white man told you. This is all about black people. From Genesis to Revelation, this is about us. It's about us. Verse 8, it says, and they had the hands of a man. They had the hands of a man. Under their wings, on their four sides. It says, and they four had their faces, and they four had their faces and their wings. It says, and their wings were joined one to another, and they turned not when they went, and they went everyone straight forward. As for the likeness of their faces, they four had the face of a man. So it was four beings in one chariot. So he was riding 4 deep, basically. Riding 4 deep, if you understand it. They say a whirlwind. Okay, he didn't say multiple chariots in this instance, but one chariot was in this whirlwind. It says, now to the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures. In this one chariot, they riding 4 deep in these UFOs. Basically, which would make sense to me. It says their wings were joined one to another. They turned not when they went, and they went everyone straight forward. As the likeness of their faces, they four had the face of a man, and the face of a lion, and on the right side, they four had the face of an ox on the left side. It says they four also had the face of an eagle. It says, and thus their wings, verse 11, it says, thus were their faces, and their wings were stretched upward. 2 wings of everyone were joined one to another. So they riding 4 deep. Because each one of their wings was touching or joined one to another. It says, and 2 covered their bodies. Like I said before, the 2 of the wings covered their lower parts. They covered themselves. Their shame covered themselves, okay? The other 2 wings they used for other purposes. Verse 12. And it says, and they went everyone straight forward. Where the spirit was to go, they went. So wherever their spirit went, so did what? The chariot. The chariot went. It says, and they turned not when they went. And as for the likeness of the living creatures, their appearance was like burning coals of fire. That's why they, when they described them in the 2 Kings, they looked like horses of fire. Well, these angels, they gave off fire. I'm trying to tell you. It says their appearance was like burning coals of fire, and like the appearance of lamps. And it was, and it says, and it went up and down among the living creatures. So that appearance of burning coals of fire went up and down, okay, from head to toe, covered their bodies. They gave off fire. The chariot gave off fire, and they gave off fire too. Which makes sense, because who else is a seraphim, or was a seraphim? Old Satan, old Hasatan was also like them. Hasatan was like them too, at one point. So, it says, and the living creatures ran. Oh, rather, hold on. Verse 13 says, and it says, and went up and down the living creatures, and the fire was bright, and out of the fire went forth lightning. So not only did these cats, these angels produce fire from off their appearance, it was also lightning around them as well. It says, and the living creatures ran and returned as the appearance of a flash of lightning. So when they ran, all 4 of them ran together, and when they ran like the flash, like a flash of lightning. Now, that's something right there, huh? Now it says, now as I behold the living creatures, behold, one wheel upon the earth by the living creatures with his 4 faces. So he's saying there was only one wheel behold, one wheel upon the earth by the living creatures. That's why I said they rolled 4 deep, because they came in this one wheel, this one UFO. Okay, there was 4 of them in there, not just, 4 UFOs and then 1 in each. No, it was 1 UFO for 4 people. Chariot, huh? Okay. It says, and the appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of beryl, and they 4 had one likeness. And their appearance and their work, it says, and their appearance and their work was added were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. Now, if you're going to look at some of them UFOs, if you go research, how it look like it's a circle within a circle. If you looking up at it, okay, in the middle of the wheel, there's another wheel, okay. I'm assuming that wheel inside the wheel can detach from the regular wheel, okay. I'm just assuming, okay. There's a wheel within the wheel. Why? Because it said one wheel upon the earth by the living creatures. So that means the other wheel was what? Still in the sky. If one wheel was upon the earth, the other wheel had to be in the sky, right? And if the chariot itself was a wheel inside the wheel, that means that it separated. There was 2 parts to this UFO. The main part was in the sky. The second part can come down onto the earth. Let's continue. It says, the appearance of the wheels and their work was like on the color of beryl, and they 4 had one likeness, and their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. It says, and they went. And it says, when they went up on their 4 sides. And they turned not when they went. It says, as for the rings, okay, they were so high, they were dreadful. What rings? The rings that was inside the circle. They covered around the circle, the rings. So, if I'm standing on the ground, I'm looking up, looking at this as the prophet Ezekiel says, okay? And I'm seeing the circle within the circle, and the circle depart from the circle. And I'm looking up at the circle in the sky, and you telling me there was what? Rings going around? And the other part coming down? Check this out. It says, and their rings, they were so high they were dreadful, and their rings were full of eyes round about them 4. Now, you can either say that there's literal eyes looking from these UFOs, or he describing, you remember this was back in the day, they didn't necessarily have light bulbs back in the day. They didn't necessarily have LED lights like we have today. That was too advanced for them. That was advanced stuff, okay? So what he probably was saying here, when he was talking about these eyes, he was actually talking about like little lights, like little LED lights, okay, or light bulbs, something along those lines. That that was as he's looking up at it, okay, that went around the rings. These little lights that went around the rings, that he called them eyes. Okay. I know some of y'all are like, what is he? This is in the Bible? Yes. This is in the book of Ezekiel. Okay? I know a lot of y'all, a lot of churches, they don't touch on this. I don't know why not, because this our ride home. This our ride home. They talking about being raptured up, being caught up in the sky. Well, how are you going to get caught up in the sky? How was the rest of the prophets caught up in the sky? They was caught up in the sky by these so-called chariots of Yah, or UFOs. So if they was caught up in the sky by these UFOs, how you think we getting up out of here and going to Jerusalem? How are we going to leave America and other places and the islands of the sea and be taken to Jerusalem when all hell breaks loose? When wars and stuff is going on, famines, droughts, fires, plagues, earthquakes, all this stuff going on. How the hell are we supposed to get from over here to Jerusalem? He said to blow the shofar in Jerusalem. His word comes forth out of Jerusalem, out of Zion. How are we going to get there? By plane, train, bus, and automobile? Yeah, right. Some of us is going to go there by that way, but a lot of us, we're going to have to be taken from over here and sat over there. Okay? Why? Why not be taken from where we are here up into the heavens to go in heaven somewhere? Because he said New Jerusalem is coming down with him, with the Most High. That means the Most High is coming down here with the new heaven, the new earth, New Jerusalem. So if he bringing it down here, then why the hell are we going up there for? That's what I'm saying. We're going to be taken from one place to the other. It says, and when the living creatures went, the wheels went by them. And when the living creatures or the angels were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up. So wherever they went, wherever the angels went, the wheel went. Why? It says, verse 20 says, whithersoever the Spirit was to go, they went. Thither was their spirit to go, and the wheels were lifted up over against them. Sorry. It says, for the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels. So the spirits of the angels was inside the inside the wheel, the so-called UFO. And wherever the spirit went, so did the angel went. And wherever the angel went, so did the spirit went. Okay? And saying when those went, these went, and when those stood, these stood. And when those were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up over against them. For the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels. Again, he tells you the spirit of these angels were in the daggone wheel. What wheel? The wheel inside of the wheel, the UFO. What we call UFO. Now it says, in the likeness of the firmament, upon the head of the living creature was the color of terrible crystal, stretched forth over their heads above. It says, and under the firmament were their wings straight, and one toward the other. Everyone had two, which covered on this side, and everyone had two, which covered on that side, their bodies. It says, and went, well, what does that mean? The firmament. Like a terrible crystal. So, in other words, what he's describing here is something like a force field, some type of shield, some type of crystal-looking shield that covered them on each side. That's what he said. The color of it was a terrible crystal, and it stretched forth over their heads above. And under the firmament of their wings were straight, one toward the other. Everyone had two, which covered on this side, and everyone had two, which covered on that side of their bodies. It says, and when they went, I heard the noise of their wings, like the noise of great waters, and the voice of El Shaddai, the Most High Almighty, God Almighty, the voice of speech, and the noise of an host. And when they stood, they let down their wings. And when they stood up straight, they let down their wings. Okay? It says, and there was a voice from the firmament that was over their heads, which stood and had let down their wings. It says, and above the firmament, this is where the Most High come in. It says, and above the firmament that was over their heads was the likeness of a throne. Now we talking about UFOs. Now we're talking about the Most High. That's all in the Bible. Okay? Said above the angel's head of these UFOs was a throne, okay, as the appearance of a sapphire stone. It says, and upon the likeness of the throne was the likeness of appearance of a man above upon it. It says, and I saw, and it says, and I saw as the color of amber, as the appearance of fire. And we know the Most High is a consuming fire. It says the appearance of fire round about within it. And from the appearance of his loins, even upward. So from head to toe, or from toe to head, even upward. And from the appearance of his loins, even downward. I saw it was the appearance of fire. And it had brightness round about it, and the appearance of the bow that is in the cloud in the day of rain. Talking about the rainbow. So above the Most High's head with this rainbow. Okay. that covenant he made with us and through Noah. Remember that? That rainbow. It says, and so was the appearance of the brightness round about it, and this was the appearance of the likeness of the glory of Yahuwah. And when I saw it, I fell upon my face, and I heard the voice of that one that spoke. All right, so we got that. So now we know what the angels look like. We know what the Most High look like. And we know that these UFOs, these angels, are his chariots that are in the heavens. And we know that the throne of the Most High sits above them. It controls them. Whether they go to or fro. Wherever they go at. Okay? So hold your spot there. I want to read to you in the book of Jasher. So I'm going to go here to the book of Jasher real quick. Hold your spot there. Go to the book of Jasher. Well, you necessarily got a hold spot there, but we want the book of Jasher now. Because a lot of people ain't heard about this. And I think I read some of this before. But, you know, we go over it again. Because we talking about UFOs. And we talking about how Enoch was taken. Because everybody know Enoch was taken. You know, everybody. Even if they ain't read this part, they know he was taken. But they don't know how he was taken. So now we explain to you the mode of transportation and the way he was taken. Just like who? Elijah was. Enoch was taken in the same way. Check this out. And we know Enoch was before Elijah. Enoch was before Elijah. This was in the days of Methuselah, Enoch, and after that, Noah. So if you got the book of Jasher, okay, it's the book of Jasher, okay, go with me to page 11, okay, book of Jasher, page 11. We're going to start at verse 25. Wow. Matter of fact, we're going to start at verse 23. Okay? Verse 23, book of Jasher, page 11. Okay? If you're in this book. Okay? Talking about these UFOs, Enoch. It says, and then some time after, when the kings and princes and the sons of men were speaking to Enoch, and Enoch was teaching them the ways of the Most High. Behold, an angel of the Lord, behold, the angel of the Most High, then called unto Enoch from heaven, and wished to bring him up to heaven, to make him what? To make him reign over the sons of God. So the angel, you know, the Most High sent an angel to call unto Enoch, okay, because angels don't do whatever they want. They do whatever they told. Just like we supposed to be doing, right? But we hard-headed, right? Remember that? So he's saying, wanted to bring Enoch. Wow. To do what? To reign over the sons of God. Who are the sons of God? The angels. Okay? And a lot of the sons of God got kicked out of heaven. That's why Enoch was pleading with the Most High for Satan and the 2/3 of the angels who follow after him, that sleep with the daughters of men and make giants and evil spirits and witches and warlocks upon the earth. Okay, you go read that. So Enoch was supposed to reign over him, reign over the angels. Ain't that something? It says, as he had reigned over the sons of men upon the earth. You're like, well, if you read the book of Enoch, he was doing a lot more than just being showed a lot of stuff and trying to plead with the Most High for the fallen angels, the devil and his angels. Okay, he was also teaching the sons of men the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High. That's what I'm saying. The law, statutes, commandments of the Most High been around longer than Moses' era. Okay, when Moses came down from the mountain, that was the first time they ever heard of the law, statutes, and commandments. Hey, the law, statutes, and commandments was since the beginning. That was since the beginning. Keeping the Sabbath day and all that stuff, they kept the Sabbath day in heaven. Man, I read that. I was like, that mean the angels kept the Sabbath day in heaven too? Yeah. So here you got Enoch. Okay. It says, verse 24, it says, and when at that time Enoch heard this, he went and assembled all the inhabitants of the earth, and taught them wisdom and knowledge, and gave them divine instructions, and said to them, I have been required to ascend into heaven. I therefore do not know the day of my going. So, there's two things going on, because there was a sense of retaliation, which I'm going to read in the Apocrypha of why the Most High took Enoch. Because if Enoch would have stayed after teaching men knowledge and wisdom before the day of the flood, the second flood, he might have just well been either consumed with that flood, or he would have been taken by the devil and his angels at some point in time, and probably tortured or what have you. Because the devil and the angels sent Enoch to go up to the Most High and plead for their case to go back into heaven. That's why I said, you really think the devil gonna let somebody that was supposed to go plead with the Most High come back and tell him, nah, y'all ain't going back to heaven, and, you know, hope all is well between us? No, the devil like to probably snap his neck. So he said, hey, I got to, you know, in my opinion, he said, Most High, hey, I got to go get Enoch. And here you read it. He said he went and took Enoch to bring him up to heaven so he can do what? Reign over the sons of God. Reign over these angels up there, because they was acting a fool. He said, after he seen how he reigned over the sons of men. So he said unto them, I have been required to ascend into heaven, and I therefore do not know the day of my going. Verse 25 says, now therefore I will teach you wisdom and knowledge, and give you instruction before I leave you, and how to act upon the earth, whereby you may live. And he did so. And he taught them wisdom and knowledge, and gave them instruction. And he proved them, and he placed before them statutes and judgments to do upon the earth. That's why I told you. Your law, statutes, and commandments came way before Moses. After that tree of knowledge of good and evil was eaten, now you can understand where the wisdom and knowledge came from. It wasn't just Adam and Eve who had the knowledge of good and evil. It was the rest of the fellow sons of men that was upon the earth during Adam and Eve's time. Because a lot of people think that Adam and Eve was the only two people on the earth. How is that so? When all the 2/3 of the angels came down and slept with daughters of men, before even Adam and Eve had daughters and sons. So when that broke, when Adam and Eve broke that covenant, guess what? All of us was able to learn from the tree of knowledge and good and evil, and have wisdom and knowledge. So he said, and he made peace amongst them, and he taught them everlasting life. He taught them how to have everlasting life, and dwelt with them some time, teaching them all these things. It says, and at that time the sons of men were with Enoch. And Enoch was speaking to them, and they lifted up their eyes, and the likeness of a great horse descended from heaven. Remember that horse? The horses of fire? And the horse paced in the air. So certainly this wasn't a horse. This wasn't a Clydesdale sitting up in the middle of the sky, full of fire, just pacing back and forth in the air. Certainly not. We already explained in Ezekiel what these horses and chariots were. They were circles within a circle. They was UFOs. So here you're saying, Enoch said, it says the likeness of a great horse or great chariot, UFO, okay, descended, came down from heaven, and did what? And paced itself in the air. It said, verse 28, it says, and they told Enoch what they had seen, because men on this earth ain't seen rain, let alone a UFO, during this time. Because this was during the days before it even flooded on the earth, before the flood of Noah. So men had not seen UFOs, let alone rain. So he said, hey, They told Enoch what they had seen, and Enoch said to them, on my account does this horse descend upon earth. On my account, this horse, okay, to them look like a big old horse, descend upon the earth. It says, the time is come when I must go from you, and I shall no more be seen by you. It says, and the horse descended at that time, and stood before Enoch. And all the sons of men that were with Enoch saw him. Well, you might say, well, maybe it was some type of magical horse that came from the heavens and just stood before Enoch, and he jumped on the horse and rode off into the sunset somewhere. Nah, come on now. Why? Because we're gonna break that. We're gonna get that. It says, Enoch then ordered again. It says in verse 30, it says, and Enoch then again ordered a voice to be proclaimed, saying, where is the man who delighteth to know the ways of the Most High his God? Let him come this day to Enoch before he is taken from us. And all the sons of men assembled and came to Enoch that day, and all the kings of the earth with their princes and their counselors remained with him that day. And Enoch taught the sons of men wisdom and knowledge, and gave them divine instruction. And he bade them to serve the Most High and walk in his ways all the days of their life. And he continued to make peace amongst them. And it was after this that he rose up and rode upon the horse. And he went forth, and all the sons of men went after him, about 800,000 men. And they went with him 1 day's journey. So in other words, you mean to tell me 800,000 men? 800,000 men? That's a lot of men. They went with him 1 day's journey. Went with who 1 day's journey? Enoch. 1 day's journey. And where did Enoch go? He went and rode upon that horse that paced back and forth in the air. The horses, the same horses and chariots that Ezekiel spoke about. Okay? So they had to see 800,000 men seeing this. And they followed it with curiosity. It says, and all the sons of men went after him. Verse 33, it says, and the second day he said to them, return home to your tents. Why will you, it says, why will you go? Why are y'all going? Y'all not going, y'all getting ready to die. It says, perhaps you may die. And some of them went from him. And those that remained went with him 6 days' journey. And Enoch said to them every day, return to your tents, lest you may die. But they were not willing to return, and they went with him. Now, how can 800,000 men journey with one man on one horse that is able to descend and ascend up from heaven? Where was they going? How was they traveling with him unless they was with him? How are you going to keep up with one man on a horse going full speed? How is 800,000 men going to keep up with one man on one horse? Unless this is a pretty big horse. A big enough horse to carry 800,000 people. So he said unto them every day, return to your tents unless you may die. But they were not willing to return, and they went with him. And on the 6th day, some of the men remained and clung to him. They wasn't trying to let Enoch go. They said, we ain't never seen nothing like this. We trying to go with you. And they said to him, we will go with thee to the place where thou goest. As the Most High liveth, death only shall separate us. Verse 35, it says, and they urged so much to go with him, that he ceased speaking to them. And they went after him and would not return. It says, verse 36, it says, and when the kings returned, they caused a census to be taken. They had to, because it was 800,000 that started off, so they had to take a census. They can see, well, how many people is left? They had to take a census. A census had to be taken in order to know the number of the remaining men that went with Enoch. It says, and it was upon the 7th day that Enoch ascended into heaven in a whirlwind with horses and chariots of fire. Well, there you go. So we talking about the same horses and chariots of fire that took Enoch, that also took Elijah. Okay? And they had to take a census of the remaining men that went with Enoch. They had to figure out, well, how many went with Enoch and how many is left. Verse 37 says, and on the 8th day, all the kings that had been with Enoch sent to bring back the number of men that were with Enoch in that place from which he ascended into heaven. Verse 38 says, and all those kings went to the place and they found, it says, and all those kings went to the place and they found the earth there filled with snow. Now that's key. Because we know, like if you go to do a lot of research about these UFOs, today, a lot of them, like I said before, are spotted, you know, by the ISS, International Space Station, okay, by the NASA, spotted in the heavens. A lot of them are spotted in the sea, and a lot of them are spotted in cold regions, such as Antarctica and stuff like that, where they hide under the sheets of ice. Which would make sense, because we talking about the same earth. Now he said, all those kings went to the place, and they found the earth there filled with snow. The place where? The place where Enoch ascended into heaven. So this was a cold region they end up going to. They followed this UFO to the coldest region of the earth. That's why Enoch said, man, y'all need to go back to your tents unless you die trying to follow me to heaven. Huh? You can't come with me on this chariot. It said it was filled with snow, and upon the snow were large stones of snow. So the earth was filled with snow. So this was, what place on earth you know was filled with snow? And upon that snow were large stones of snow. We call that what? The polar ice caps, Antarctica, those type of places. Same places where the president went to go look for this global warming thing. Same place John Kerry went to Antarctica to go look at something in there. Okay, something over there going on that we don't know about. There's a lot of stuff going on in these cold regions of the planet, of this earth, that men can't survive at. That's why he was telling y'all need to go. Get on up out of here, because y'all gonna die trying to follow me up in here in this cold region. So he said, and there was snow, and it says the snow were large stones of snow. And one said to the other, come, let us break through the snow. So they thought they were gonna be able to break through the snow and see what? It says, perhaps the men that remain with Enoch are dead. Maybe they got trapped in the snow. It says, and are now under the stones of snow. It says, and they searched, but could not find him, for he had ascended into heaven. Well, there you go. So when I study and find that a lot of these UFOs are being spotted in Antarctica and, you know, in these cold regions of Alaska and stuff like that, it made perfect sense to me, because out of the 800,000 men that were trying to leave with Enoch, they also followed the UFO to the coldest regions of the planet. So it makes sense to me. You know, of course they're gonna tell you something else. Okay, they're gonna always do what? Well, us that's been in the military is what? We know that they're gonna what? Deny everything. They're going to deny and deny and deny until we all see it for ourselves. Now, so we're done with that. Go with me to I was about to Ezekiel. Joel. Book of Joel. Go with me to the book of Joel. Chapter 2. Joel chapter 2 in your Bible. Matter of fact, hold your spot there in Joel chapter 2. Go with me to Psalms. Book of Psalms. Chapter 68. Psalms chapter 68. So, you remember we was talking about them chariots of Yah, okay? And you can find how many chariots of Yah the Most High supposedly has in the book of Psalms. Check this out. Book of Psalms, chapter 68, verse 17. Psalms chapter 68, verse 17. Says the chariots of the Most High. Okay. So Ezekiel established what the chariots of the Most High are. Okay. And what's inside the chariots, the 4 seraphims, the 4 angels that look like men, black men, okay, with like burnt brass, okay, with fire all around them, okay, the chariots of Yah and the horses of Yah, okay, that's what these are. It says chariots of the Most High are 20,000. 20,000. Even thousands of what? Angels. So that's how we know the angels that's in these UFOs. These ain't little green goblins. These ain't green demons. These are angels. Okay. Now your ride home, huh? It says even thousands of angels. It says and the Lord among them. The Lord among them, the Adonai, is among them. So he's saying the Most High is among them. Among who? The chariots of Yah. That's what he's saying. If you go reading the book of Ezekiel we just covered, the firmament above these chariots was what? A throne. And he who sat on the throne was he. That's what he's saying. And the Most High is among them, as in Sinai, in the holy place. Okay? So he's among them in the holy place, in the heavens, as in Sinai. Okay. Verse 18, it says, you have ascended on high, and you have led captivity captive. It says, and you have received gifts for men, yea, for the rebellious. Also that Yah, our Elohim, might dwell among them. Blessed be the Most High, who daily loads us with benefits, even the God of our Yahusha, our salvation. Hallelujah. It's a lie. It says 20, he that is our Elohim is the God of salvation. And unto Yahuwah, the Lord, or the Adonai, belongs the issues from death. But the Most High shall wound the head of his enemies, and the hairy scalp of such as one as goes on still in his trespass. Verse 22, it says, and the Most High said, I will bring again from Bashan, I will bring my people. The Most High said, I'm going to bring my people. That's me and you, the children of Yisrael. Huh? And those who are grafted in into Yahushua HaMashiach, I'm going to do what? I will bring my people again from the depths of the sea. Where a lot of our ancestors sitting at? In the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. How they get there? They jumped off the ship. What ship? Not the spaceship. They jumped off the ships of the white man and of the Spaniards. Remember that? Transatlantic slave trade. They would have had died and let their bodies be eaten by sharks in the bottom of the sea than to go through all that persecution that they went through on that ship. He said, I'm going to bring again my people from the depths of the sea. And who's his people? Remember the valley of the dry bones? And he said, whose bones are these? These are the bones of the children of Israel. Bring upon them sinews upon their bodies. Breathe life back unto them, so they can be an exceeding great army. Y'all ain't getting this. Y'all ain't getting it. That's the day it's going to rise. And all these hypocrites and all these white devils around here, they ain't rising up out no grave. A lot of them gonna stay dead when they die. He talking about his people. That's what he said, my people. I'll bring again my people from the depths of the sea. Verse 23, it says, Psalms verse 23, it says, that your foot might be dipped in the blood of your enemies, and the tongue of your dogs in the same. Dang, said, man, I'm gonna bring your ancestors from out the depths of the sea, put life into them, of the valley of dry bones, so they can be a great army. They can do what? So the soles of their feet can step into the blood of their enemies. Is you hearing this? Man, this gonna be something else. When this day happen, hey, it ain't gonna be no joke. That even the tongue of your dogs, the dog even licking up the blood of your enemies, all your oppressors, all those who oppressed you, stole from you, raped, murdered, lied, and told you were just Negroes and the byword and the proud word. The ones who paid everyone else on the planet reparations, but still haven't paid a black man reparations for Jack Diddley squat. Huh? These are our enemies. Y'all love them. I ain't got no love for them. My foot, I wait for the day my foot could step in their blood. And hopefully I have me a pit bull so my dog can lick up their blood. You hear what I'm trying to tell you? It says they have, verse 24, it says, they have seen your goings. Oh, Elohim, even the goings of my El, the goings of my God, my King in the sanctuary. It says the singers went before the players on instruments, followed after. Among them were damsels playing with timbrels. They seen you going in and going out. They seen your oppression. It says, bless ye Most High in the congregations, even the Lord from the fountain of Israel. There is little Benjamin with the ruler, and the princes of Yehuda and their council, and the princes of Jebulim, and the princes of Naphtali. Your Elohim has commanded your strength. Most High commanded our strength for what? It says, strengthen, O Elohim, that which you have worked for us. Because of your temple at Jerusalem shall kings bring presents unto you. Verse 30, it says, rebuke the company of the spearmen, the multitude of the bulls, and the calves of the people, to everyone submit himself with pieces of silver. Scatter you the people that delight in war. Princes shall come out of Egypt. Cush, Ethiopians, shall soon stretch out her hands unto the Most High. Hallelujah. Ethiopia shall soon stretch out her hands unto the Most High. Princes shall come out of the land of Egypt. Where's Egypt? Africa. Where's Cush? Africa. What did the Most High say in Amos chapter 9, verse 7? Are not the children of Israel like unto the Cushites, the Ethiopians unto me? Come on, man. Come on. So spot there. Yeah, I marked these spots, so when people ask you about these UFOs, you can go back to it, so you can know what they're talking about. Okay. Go with me to where I said to hold your spot in Joel, book of Joel. We talking about that dry bones army, okay? The valley of dry bones. We know they're gonna come out from out the sea. A lot of them gonna come from out the sea and out of other places as well. But they're gonna go for it to be an army with who? They can be an army by themselves. Some brothers think that we are not gonna have no hand in any of this. If you read the book of the Apocalypse of Abraham, hey, Most High told Abraham, says his descendants are they gonna put their hands on their enemies. Say they're gonna wear them out. They're gonna utterly destroy them. Says they're gonna spit on them. They're gonna mock them. All those who have enslaved them and oppressed them. Check it out. Hey. So I was saying, we're going to get our hands dirty eventually. But it's going to be righteous. Ain't going to be this little tick for tat stuff we see today. So, talking about the day of Yah, talking about the dry bones army. Okay? Talking about us, children of Israel. Okay? Go with me to, hold your spot there. Hold your spot in Joel chapter 2. And before I start there, I want to read to you who the children of Israel are. Talking about the dry bones. Okay, so in if you're holding your spot there, if you're in the book of Ezekiel chapter 37, talking about the dry bones, okay, so you can know who it is he's talking about. Ezekiel chapter 37, verse 4 says, and again he said unto me, prophesy upon these bones. Remember? It says, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of Yahuwah. Thus saith the Lord Yahuwah unto these bones, behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. It says, and I will lay sinews upon you, and I will bring flesh upon you. Sinews are like cartilage. Okay? Sinews are like cartilage, if you go look it up. And I will bring flesh upon you, and cover you with skin, and put breath in you, and ye shall live, and ye shall know that I am Yahuwah. Verse 7, it says, so I prophesied, and I was commanded, and as I prophesied, there was a noise, and behold, a shaking, and the bones came together, bone to his bone. And when I beheld, lo, the sinews or cartilage, and the flesh came up upon them, and the skin covered them above, but there was no breath in them. Then he said unto me, prophesy unto the wind. Prophesy, son of man, and say to the wind, thus saith the Lord Yahuwah, come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain. These were men that were slain for their body parts, like our ancestors, who was tossed overboard. If you go do your research, a lot of our ancestors who came in on them Spanish ships, they didn't come in all in one piece. They were sold for themselves as well as their body parts. Just like we are today. You just don't know it. That's why they ask you if you want to donate any organs. Because when you die and you land on that table, where you think your organs going? You think they throw them in the trash? No, they're going to somebody else. Check this out. It says, and when I beheld, lo, the sinews came of flesh upon them, and the skin covered them above, but there was no breath in them. Then he said, I already read it. So verse 10, it says, so I prophesied, and he commanded, as he commanded me, and the breath came into them, and they lived, and they stood up upon their feet, and an exceeding great army. Then he said unto me, son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel. Huh? So that's what the valley of dry bones are, the whole house of Israel. It says, behold, they say our bones are dry, and our hope is lost, and we are cut off for our parts. They were slain for what? They said, our bones are dried. Our hope is lost. We are cut off for our parts. What parts? Our body parts. Dang, and they're going to do what? They're going to come up out of the ground and do what? And be an exceeding great army. Now, now go back to me to Joel so you can understand this passage. Joel chapter 2, verse 1. Okay. It says, blow ye the shofar in Zion, and sound the alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of Yah comes. For it is nigh at hand, a day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong, there has not been ever the like. Okay. Neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. It says, a fire devours before them. So I remember one brother or a couple brothers say, well, this passage is talking about the angels, the chariots of Yah, those horses, and those seraphims, those 4 seraphim beings, okay, that was like a man had 4 wings that was in the chariot. That's what it's talking about, because Ezekiel explains that around them was a flame of fire. But he also said that they would be a great army, but he also said who else would be a great army? The valley of dry bones, the whole house of Israel. And before them what? Okay, before them a fire devours before them, and behind them a flame burns. So you mean to tell me when we be changed in the instant, we be changed like these angels, we gonna give off a fiery aura that one can't even look at us unless he catch fire? Think about that. It says the land is as the Garden of Eden before them. It's plentiful. And behind them a desolate wilderness. Behind them a desolate wilderness. That's what we're talking about. Some of us going to go back into the wilderness. You know, and some of us might think that a lot of us, we're going to be taken from here to the wilderness of Africa until we get to cross over into Jerusalem, where the Most High will plead for us, the valley of Jehoshaphat. I think some of us are going to be in the wilderness of Africa. Some of us are going to be in the wilderness of Iraq. Some of us are going to be in the wilderness of Assyria and so forth, okay? But hey, America's going to be a wilderness too. It's going to be a ruinous heat. Once this flame of fire gets set on America, it's going to be a wilderness. So that wilderness we looking forward to going to, a lot of us going to die in that wilderness. We are in that wilderness. America is part of that wilderness too. And what you see every day, a lot of us dying in this wilderness. A lot of us have died to get to this wilderness and have died in this wilderness. So he's saying it'd be a desolate wilderness. Behind them a desolate wilderness because of what? They're fire. We're going to burn and scourge this place. It says, yea, and nothing shall escape them. It says, verse 4, it says, the appearance of them is as the appearance of horses. And as horsemen, so shall they run. So this is where they equate this portion of the scripture pertaining to the angels, the UFOs, okay? The angels inside the UFOs, rather, okay? As horsemen. That's what I'm saying. If we're going to be taken by these same UFOs, we can be changed in an instant to be like Yahushua HaMashiach. And Yahushua HaMashiach, when he coming with his chariots of flame of fire, with his sword drawn, what we going to be like? We're going to be just like them. Okay, we're going to be just like them. It says, the appearance of them is as the appearance of horsemen, and as a horseman, so shall they run. Like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap. It says, like the noise of a flame of fire that devours the stubble. And as a strong people set in battle array. Man. It says, before their face the people shall be much pain. All faces shall gather blackness. And they shall run like mighty men. And they shall climb the wall like men of war. And they shall march every one his own ways. And they shall not break their ranks, neither shall one thrust another. And they shall walk every one in his path, and when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. When they fall upon the sword, when they get thrust through the sword, they shall not be wounded. And they shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run to and fro in the city, and they shall run upon the wall. And they shall climb upon the houses, and they shall enter in at the windows like a thief. And the earth shall quake before them, and the heavens shall tremble, and the sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining, And Yahuwah shall, and the Most High Yahuwah shall utter his voice before his army. Now we know that the angels in heaven are his army, and we know that the valley of dry bones, the children of Israel, shall also be an exceeding great army. So I believe it's two things going on. We're going to be part of that great army. Like I said, we're going to get our hands dirty, but it's going to be righteous. We're going to kill our enemies, in other words, righteously. Okay. It says, and who shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great. For he is strong to execute his word, for the day of Yahuwah is great and very terrible. Who can abide it? Who can abide it? Who can abide it? And lastly, we can go to Revelations. Lastly, we can go to well, not lastly, almost lastly. Got one more chapter I want to read to you before I close this out. Okay. Book of Revelations, chapter 19. Revelations chapter 19. Talk about this army. Chapter 19, verse 11. Okay. It says, and I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. And in righteousness he does judge and make war. It says his eyes were as a flame of fire. Talking about the Most High Yah. And on his head were many crowns, and he had a name written that no man knew, but he himself. Verse 13, it says he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood. He was clothed in a vesture dipped in blood. The blood of what? The blood of our enemies. And his name is called the Word of Yah. The Word of Elohim. And the armies which were in heaven, these armies that are in heaven, okay, these horses and chariots now, the same ones that came and got Enoch, Ezekiel, and supposedly going to come and get us. It says, and the armies which were in heaven follow him upon the white horses. So these UFOs follow him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. But I believe, well, got one for you. So there's different colors of these UFOs too. Ain't just the amber one that was described. Not just the amber one that was described. Let's see if I got it placed over here. Because there's also red ones, and there's also different color ones. I know it's probably the spot I had lost earlier. We talked about that. See if I can find it. I had to find it and put it here later in the description about some of these different color chariots of the Most High. Okay, it ain't just the amber ones. There's the white ones, and there's black ones, and there's red ones, and there's different colors. Okay. So he's saying, but these white ones, okay, follow him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And out of his mouth goes a sharp sword, and that with it he should smite the nations. He shall rule them with a rod of iron, and he treads the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of the Almighty God, or the El Shaddai Elohim. Okay. Verse 16, it says, and he has on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Adonai of Lords, Lord of Lords. And I saw an angel standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven, come and gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great Elohim, that you may eat the flesh of kings, and the flesh of captains, and the flesh of mighty men, and the flesh of horses. Now, while we're, It said they eat the flesh of horses, and of them that sat on them, and the flesh of all men, both free and bond, and both small and great. And I saw the beasts and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. That's why I said, these people down here, that's why they make these movies like Independence Day and so forth, like they taking it to the aliens. Yeah, we're going to take it to the aliens, because that's how they think they're going to take it against the Most High when the real UFOs show up and the Most High show up with all his saints. They're going to think they're going to take it to him like that. Yeah, right. That's what he said. He saw the beast. What beast? The beast. Huh? And the kings of the earth. That means all these presidents, these nations, and their armies gathered together and make war against the Most High, who sat on the horse, and against his army. So that's what I said. What you think the valley of dry bones are going to do? Get up out of the ground and just stand there? No, they're going to. He said they're going to be an exceedingly great army. And what else? The armies that were in heaven are also a great army. So we're going to join our brothers and sisters of the angels and of those who have passed away before us to be one big old army. And we're going to go and slay our enemies upon this earth. Not in the next, but in this one. It says, and the beast was, it says, verse 20 says, and the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that worked miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that worship his image. And these both were cast in alive. They was cast alive, okay, into a lake of burning, a lake of fire burning with brimstone. And the remnant were slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse. The remnant, after he burned alive, who? The beast, the false prophet, and those who worship him, the remnant, were slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse, which sword proceeded out of his mouth, and all the fowls were filled with their flesh. Now, if you take a look at some of these, now we talking about UFO, because some of it, maybe it's a real sword that's going to just, hack away at the people on earth. It's going to be, the Most High going to come with a horse, a white horse, and he's going to just ride up on this horse in the middle of the sky, and he's going to come with his sword in his hand. He's just going to start chopping up people, right? Well, if you look at some of these UFOs, that beam of light that come down, that destroy half of all these populations and stuff, that is also part of that sword that come up out of his mouth. They come up out of the mouth of these UFOs, okay? And all the fowls, what fowls? Fowls of the air, they can what? They're going to eat the flesh of the people. They're going to eat the flesh of our enemies. And there you go. So that's what I'm waiting on. What are you waiting on? I'm waiting on that. I'm waiting to see that. And all right. Lastly, if you're an apocrypha, and this is just a word of wisdom, and I'm gonna end this video. Book of Wisdom, chapter 5. Book of Wisdom, chapter 5, and apocrypha, okay? Or the Wisdom of Solomon, okay? Or the Book of Wisdom, Wisdom of Solomon. Verse 1, chapter 5, verse 1 says, then the righteous man will stand with great confidence in the presence of those who have afflicted him. Talking about us, the children of Yisrael. Okay? Or those that's righteous of us, rather. It says, and those who make light of his labors. It says, and when they see him, they will be shaken with dreadful fear, and they will be amazed at his unexpected salvation. It says, and they will speak one to another in repentance, and in anguish of spirit they will groan and say, this is the man whom we once held in derision and made a byword of a reproach. Now, who he said was going to be made a byword and a proverb? The children of Israel, in chapter Deuteronomy, and in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, I believe it was. Okay? He said, "This is the man whom we once held in derision and made a byword of reproach. We fools. We thought that his life was madness and that his end was without honor." And that's how they look at us. They look at us black people as a bunch of lost people, a bunch of madmen and women, and without honor. Verse 5, it says, "Why has he been numbered among the sons of God?" Why has he been numbered amongst the sons of God, amongst the angels? It says, "Why is his lot amongst the saints?" Verse 6, it says, so it was we who strayed from the way of the truth, and the light of righteousness did not shine on us, and the sun did not rise upon us. And we took our fill of the paths of lawlessness and destruction, and we journeyed through the trackless deserts, but the way of the Most High we have not known. What has our arrogance profited us? Talking about these other nations. It says, "And what good has our boasted wealth brought us? All those things have vanished like a shadow, like a rumor that passes by, like a ship that sails through the billowy water. And when it has passed, no trace can be found, no track of its keel in the waves. Or as when a bird flies through the air, no evidence of its passage is found. The light air, lashed by the beat of its pinions and pierced by the force of its rushing flight, is traversed by the movement of its wings, and afterward no sign of its coming is found there. Or as when an arrow is shot at a target, the air, thus divided, comes together at once, so that no one knows its pathway. So we also, as soon as we were born, ceased to be. And we had no sign of virtue to show, but were consumed in our wickedness." Now, what sign of virtue were he talking about? You read in Wisdom chapter 4, he says, "Better than this is childlessness with virtue. For in the memory of virtue is immortality, because it is known both by God and by men." So he's talking to these wicked nations, these wicked people. They have not known virtue. They have not known immortality that was both known by God and man. So on that day of salvation, when the Most High comes and gathers his people, the rest of the nations are going to look at us like, why is they counted amongst the sons of God? These bywords and proverbs, these Negroes ain't done nothing their whole life. So he's saying. In chapter 5, verse 14. Verse 13, it says, "So we also, as soon as we were born, ceased to be." Why? Because he said the children, in the word, he says the children of Israel are his chosen, are his elect. The rest of the nations are like spit in the bucket. According to the Most High, they like spit in the bucket. He don't care nothing about the rest of these nations. They the one tell you that God loves the world and holds the whole world in his hand. Come on. So he's saying, but they had not had no virtue to show. So it says, but were consumed in our wickedness. Because the hope of the ungodly man is like chaff carried by the wind, and like a light hoarfrost driven away by a storm, it is dispersed like smoke before the wind. And it passes like the remembrance of a guest who stays but a day. You don't remember, in other words. But the righteous live forever, and their reward is with the Lord, with the Most High. It says the Most High takes care of takes care of them. It says, therefore, they will receive a glorious crown and a beautiful diadem from the hand of the Most High, because with his right hand he will cover them, and with his arm he will shield them. It says the Most High will take his zeal as his whole army. It will arm all creation to repel his enemies. He said he will arm all creation. The Most High created more than just us, right? He created the birds, the bees, the animals, and everything. He said, I will arm all creation to repel his enemies. I will use even the dog to get rid of my enemy. In other words, I will use the bird to kill my enemy, to repel my enemy. So Most High using the animals, us, and everybody. Hey, he don't just use us to swing a sword. He used animals too. If you go read about the book of Noah, that's what he did. In the book of Noah and the Apocrypha, I'm talking about the days of Noah when we was going over that, how he used the animals to guard the ark that Noah had built, so that they can get off safely, because they was followed by 700,000 men who was trying to get on that ark. So the animals had to help, fight against them, keep them from entering into the ark. So that's what he's meaning by he will arm all creation to repel his enemies. It says, and he will put on righteousness as a breastplate and wear impartial justice as a helmet. It says, and he will take holiness as an invincible shield and sharpen stern wrath for a sword. And creation will join with him to fight against the madman. What? It says, and sharpen stern wrath for a sword. His wrath is the sword. It says, and creation, all creation, will join with who? With the Most High to fight against who? The madmen. What madmen? Esau and his seeds, his descendants. The devil and his angels. Verse 21 says, shafts of lightning will fly with true aim, like a lightning bolt with true aim that's going for its target. It says, and will leap to the target as from a well-drawn bow of clouds. And hailstones full of wrath will be hurled as from a catapult, and the water of the sea will rage against them, and the rivers will relentlessly overwhelm them. A mighty wind will rise against them like a tempest. It will now them away, and lawlessness will lay waste the whole earth, and evil doing will overturn the thrones of the rulers. So he's basically telling you the day of Yah. That's how it's going to happen. He ain't just going to use, angels. He ain't going to use just us. He's going to use the animals too, even the fowls of the air. They're going to be eating the flesh of the enemy. So we in for something. We in for a lot of stuff, a lot of events that's getting ready to take place. Maybe not in our lifetime, maybe in the next. Not in the next, but maybe I might not be able to see it. You might not be able to see it. Maybe your children or your children's children might see it. That's why I say soon, because nobody really knows. If it happened before then, well, it is what it is, right? But know this, one of these days, we're going to get up out of that ground, whether it happened while we're alive or not, and we're going to join the Most High along with all creation against what? The fight against the madmen. Well, there you go. So for those who are saying that we ain't going to get our hands dirty, we ain't going to get our hands dirty and fight against the devil, the white men and all these other nations who have ruled and oppressed us, you think we ain't going to get our hands dirty? I'll show you many instances where the Bible say, hey, we're going to get our hands dirty. We're going to utterly destroy them. We're going to spit on them. We're going to do a whole lot of matter of stuff to them. So, hey, we're going to fight one last time, whether you want to or not. Whether you ready or not, we're going to fight. All of us going to fight. Even the birds, the bees, and the deer. We all going to fight. It's going to be like something out of the book of Narnia. That Narnia movie with all them animals gathered together with the humans and they all fought against the wicked witch. That's what it's going to be like. Something like that. Except there's going to be UFOs and all kind of stuff going on. There's going to be a whole lot of stuff going on. So, I hope y'all ready. With that, family, I say Shabbat Shalom. Hope y'all have a blessed Shabbat today. Mark them scriptures down so you can share it with somebody else. So people don't think you're crazy. We're talking about UFOs in the Bible, because they're in there. You know, hey, we all gonna join with them. We gonna fight against the devil in his army. The Most High ain't gonna let slavery slide. See, these people think that the Most High gonna let them slide for what they did to us. The Most High ain't forgot about that. Nor have they recompense. Nor have they repaid us. There haven't been no recompense yet. We still waiting on the day of recompense. But when it comes, it's gonna be all hell break loose. And ain't gonna be nothing you can do to stop it. So with that, family, I say shalom.